Sarah Kemp from Eskay Architects. Home design fit for the future, naturally. So the lockdown effect, I was having a chat with one-to-one with Sandra, and she said, I was worried that people wouldn't want any work. But there are people who do have money because they haven't spent money on holidays. And there are more people working from home, so their house is more crowded and they need more space. And there is also another aspect, and there's going to be vacant retail and office space as people, as retail, certain shops just can't go on any longer. And office spaces, I saw a tweet where a large office in London that a charity were using, they just said, we're not going to do that anymore, we're all going to work from home and we'll give up our office. So there will be, so I've been working on a job that I'll go on to in a minute through the slides that will cover that. So, and this extension and remodeling of this house provided a spacious kitchen and dining area, giving better views and access to the garden. The garage conversion, I don't know whether, can you see my cursor? You can't, can you? On the plan.
Yeah.
Oh, you can, brilliant. So yeah. on the plan, this is the, you come in, this is the main entrance. So you've got your large kitchen and dining area, views out to the garden, and then this is the back door. They've got a side utility room, but this was the garage. So we put a window in here, and this is the workspace that the father of the family desperately needed so he could shut himself off from the rest of the family. He works from home quite a lot. He worked from home quite a lot anyway, and it's quite useful. They've got a flexible space. We combine this with a guest room. And just opposite, you've got the new bathroom, which was created. So all this part was built new, extended out. And the bathroom's just opposite the guest room and the office, and it's closed off from the rest of the house. So especially when he's getting up early to go to London, it's really useful because he can get ready and without disturbing the rest of the family, which is really useful. So another way to extend your house is, this is a 2-story extension. A little more trickier, not some extensions will come into permitted development, but 2-story near a boundary, you most likely. So this needed planning permission. So this gives more living space on the ground floor and larger bedroom upstairs. They had a little box room, which this project extended. The front room's become a TV room and the back room a music room. And this connects to the kitchen and dining room, and there's also space to lounge. And they've both worked from home happily during lockdown, they've just sold their house because they're downsizing, and they said the extension sold it, and they were quizzing me about how they could manage in their new 2-bedroom house if we're going to lockdown, or if they're working from home, or Robin wanted to put a shed on the they've got a small patio where they're moving to, and he was asking whether a permitted development were allowed to put a shed there. I said, no, you're just going to have to use the spare room. So they do have a spare room. So loft extension, this is loft extension, another way to get more space in your house. It frees up space in other parts of the house, so you could work in one of the bedrooms that would be spare now. But you could also make a spacious office in the sky for two people in this particular property, with far-reaching views, good for mental health, and avoiding the problems associated with working in the box room. That there's little connection with outside, and they often have small windows. So I remember my time working in the box room in our house, and I really didn't like it. Here I've got views out to the front and the back of the house. But I do have a friend who works quite happily in a tiny, tiny room. He's a graphic designer. He has the shelves full of boxes and a tiny little window, and he's very happy working away. So it's what the client needs. I can tailor it. And then there's workspace away from the house. You can build in the garden. A lot can be done often without the need for planning permission. And there's less distraction. You're away from the busyness of the house. And the temptation to load the dishwasher or do other things, and you get that feeling of going to work, walking down the garden. And this can evolve with changing circumstances. It could be a teenage hangout, it could be a spare room, they can have sleepovers, or it can be a granny pad. So so design and build it to last all weathers and seasons, so that it can stand the test of time in your changing circumstances. Below, I've got a drawing that I just completed in the last month for a client. He works in forestry, so he has access to a lot of timber. We needed planning permission. His house is just, if you can see my cursor, is just over here. So he's got quite a long garden, and then we needed planning permission because this is slightly taller than the required 2.5 within 2 meters of a boundary. So he needed a workshop. So this is garage, and so he's got garage for parking his cars, and he's also going to use it as a workshop. Oh, I don't know how that happened. And he also a garden room. So here he's got steps down into the garden. This is my own home. You can't actually see the desk in this, but we had some cupboards that I used. I've got a small kitchen, so I use this for a lot of kitchen storage. But I was getting very cramped in one table. Architects need a lot of space. So it's not happy. Will you stay on that one? I'll stop touching my... I need a lot of space to spread out drawings. So we took out these cupboards and put them in the conservatory. So I've got a lovely neat storage in there. I put a long table and a storage shelf and cupboards above. I'd really recommend cupboards because they shut the door on mess. This shelf is now quite cluttered, and so is this table. So this was for me to expand and have a trainee architect next to me. Now I've got my husband working in lockdown beside me. Oh, and to get to that point, I had a very interesting discussion. I got help from a colleague because I had to choose. I was saying, well, shall I build something in the garage? I've got a driveway opposite. Shall I build an office there? Shall I build in the garden? Or so we decided that, my sister was offering her spare room. So we wrote a list of pros and cons and came up with the short-term solution was to build this desk, get more room, have somebody working with me. And then the long-term solution is to build an office above a garage over the road, so that clients don't have to trail through my garden to visit me. And then the retail conversion. So I've been working on this for 2 or 3 years. It's now on site. It's very clicky. So this is 2 stories of underused office and storage space above 3 shops converted. This is in Worthing, near the fire station. Shops converted into 5 apartments, 2 with outdoor terraces in order to get light. But it's nice that 2 flats have got outside space. I think really all flats should have a balcony at least. So we've got, they're coloured. So this is just a single story. You come up the stairs from the ground floor into this flat, and then the others you enter from the front of the property, and they've got a common stairway, 4 flats, and all 4 flats have second floor accommodation. And a single shop conversion is probably a good investment possibility. Also, you get planning permission for a change of use, so you can change a shop into a dwelling in many cases. So flexible spaces, they're always good for home working. The rear extension I showed on my first slide, these are the internal shots. The extension provided general, this was actually not an extension. There were several disparate parts of the house that we knocked down and then rebuilt into one large space. So, so they, it was just consolidated, a remodeling. And you can just see that my client's working on her large kitchen table quite happily while I was taking the shots. Okay, and that's it. Thank you very much for listening. So does anyone have any questions?
Sarah, how much is the typical cost of a home office that you put into the garden rather than an extension or redoing your spaces and things?
I mean, you can get a basic. I mean, you could get a basic shed. You can insulate that. It depends on the level. I think I saw one that was was a generous one, because I mean, if you just need one in the garden, you could, if it's just you, it could be quite small, just a desk and a chair.
Yeah.
But for one that was a decent size, with a bathroom, was about 7,000. So, but I am starting to investigate that, because I want to design my own to offer people, because I was talking to Steve about it, and I think we could get a highly insulated, with all your electrics involved.
Yeah, that's really, if you're just using a shed or something, then you worry about all the electrics and things. So.
Well, and also if you're just using a shed like Gary's got a beautiful shed in the garden, but it's stinking hot at the moment, isn't it, Gary?
It is. It's a sauna. Yeah.
So we're looking at just wrapping it up in insulation, which will actually cools it down in the summer.
Yeah,
that's an idea. Yeah, because my other half is working in the shed as well at the moment, and it's boiling in there.
Well, if anyone's got a shed, I can come and have a look at it and wrap it up.
Okay, interesting. And that'll keep it warm in the winter as well.
Yeah, warm in the winter and cool in the summer. Yeah.
Okay, can we have a chat after?
Oh, yes.
Brilliant. Thank you. All right, lovely. Any other questions? Can you talk to Sarah afterwards, or have a lovely one-to-one with her? And any of those that are working from home and need a garden office, you know where to go. Brilliant, lovely. Thank you. And now my computer.